In part three, we're going to talk about something very interesting, which has to do with the redundant le when it comes to using handles. And we use handles, of course, all the time because it makes speaking just so much easier and faster. Now, this is something that is going to sound quite weird to your ears again. Let's look at our first example here. We have, I sent money to my family each month. So I wonder if you can recall how you would say that. It would be, le mando dinero a mi familia cada mes. So again, referring to family. To it, I send money to my family each month. Now, if we were to introduce a handle, in other words, I have to send money to my family each month, it would look like this. We have, tengo que mandarle dinero a mi familia cada mes. Here, just because we use a handle doesn't mean that we get out of having to throw in the redundant le. It's just the same as before. Whenever you're using a handle, okay, followed by the full verb as always, then you will just tag the pronoun onto the end of that full verb. So it's working just the same as before with all of our other regular pronouns and work that we've done in the course. But it is going to sound strange to your ears and strange to say because we're not used to including this redundant le. Okay, so once again, how would you say I have to send money to my family each month? Tengo que mandarle dinero a mi familia cada mes. So I have to send to it money to my family each month. You know what? It's probably better not to try to do a direct translation at all because maybe it just makes it even more confusing to your ears. Let's try this next example. How would you say, I want to show my house to my uncle? Again, just pause and think very carefully. Quiero mostrarle mi casa a mi tío. What about this one? Francisco is going to write a letter to his brother in Argentina. Francisco va a escribirle una carta a su hermano en Argentina. A lot of you are probably reaching right away to say, Francisco va a escribir una carta a su hermano en Argentina. Doesn't that sound so much smoother to what we're used to? The strange bit is here where we have to hook on Francisco va a escribirle. That's the bit that is going to catch you. And it's the bit to be most aware of, where you're having to hook on the redundant le to the verb after your handle. What about if we switch to was going to, which is going to be iba, right? This handle of iba, was going to. And we try to repeat the same sentence. How would you say now, Francisco was going to write a letter to his brother in Argentina? Francisco iba a escribirle una carta a su hermano en Argentina. So again, it doesn't matter what the handle is, whether it's was going to, is going to, present tense, doesn't matter. You still have to find a way to include the redundant le for the verbs that fall into that category of taking it. Let's look at this one. Miguel wants to give his book to Carolina. How would you say that? Miguel quiere darle su libro a Carolina. So Miguel wants to give to her his book to Carolina. Again, you can see how, or hear how redundant this le is. Miguel quiere darle su libro a Carolina. What about this one? Miguel can't give his book to Carolina because he needs it for school today. Miguel no puede darle su libro a Carolina porque lo necesita para la escuela hoy. So here we have Miguel can't give to her his book to Carolina because he needs it, porque lo necesita for school today, para la escuela hoy. If you said poor, thinking that the reason why was school, I can understand. But what you need to understand is that we are already here explaining the reason why. Okay, so he can't give his book to Carolina, and now here's the reason why. We're stating porque. He needs it for school. This is para being used just as a general word for, which happens quite a lot in Spanish. So if you said por here again, I could understand why, because you were thinking that the reason why he couldn't give his book to Carolina was because of school. But the reason that's wrong to use por there is because we're already stating the reason why up here with porque, meaning because. So again, see how there are places to trip you up everywhere in Spanish. How would you say this one? I can't tell the truth to my family. No puedo decirle la verdad a mi familia. I can't tell to it, referring to family, the truth to my family. Finally, let's try this one. I want to ask my friend if he knows. Quiero preguntarle a mi amigo si lo sabe. So two things here. Preguntar is a verb that falls into le because you ask to him, to her, the same as call to him or to her. So this is why I want to ask to it, I suppose, because we're referring to friend here. Quiero preguntarle a mi amigo. And si lo sabe, if you said si sabe, you will be understood. It's not such a bad thing, but it sounds more natural to put in the lo here if he knows it. And this is something that we covered with the module on saber. So, quiero preguntarle a mi amigo si lo sabe, if he knows.